main types of esophageal cancer are squamous cell carcinoma, which is acronym for OSCC, and adenocarcinoma, which is acronym for OAC. So although these two cancer types originate from the same organ, which is the esophagus, these two cancer subtypes are actually very different with distinct clinical features, histopathological characteristics, as well as geographical distribution. Hi guys, so I've just finished with my meeting with my boss, and basically I think it went quite well. What I did was that I put together all of the figures that I've generated, whether it was like interesting data or optimization work, and then I just wanted to show that to my boss to get her feedback and maybe suggest the things that she thinks should be included in presentation and the things that should not be included in presentation but should be included in my report, my second year report. So a good chunk of all of the data that I have at the moment is more about optimization work. So like it's only a small part that is actually the actual data, and you know the optimization is very important before you can generate any data, because it's like a foundation. Anything, if the optimization wasn't done properly, all of the data that you generated at the end would just crumble. I love it when it rains. It makes everything really cozy and stuff. But yeah, as I was saying, she had like some suggestions on some of the things that I didn't remember or some of the things that I didn't notice. So what I plan to do now is to just modify some of the figures that I have made. She asked about how I'm faring, and then I was telling her how I feel a bit like everything is taking me a really long time to go through, and I feel like I'm slow and the pace of my work is really slow. And then she just mentioned that, you know, like for a PhD student I'm doing well, and it's not like I tend to be my own biggest critic, in the sense that I try to, you know, make sure that I'm meeting my own expectations, and sometimes I can be a bit harsh on myself, to be very honest. So hearing her just, you know, say that she thinks I'm doing great is a bit reassuring. Not that I need external validation from anybody, but my boss is someone that I hold in a very high esteem and like a special place in my heart, basically. So her saying that, you know, she thinks I'm doing great, it's just very, you know, it's nice. It's a nice thing to hear, because as I mentioned, and I've showed you guys, this past couple of weeks have been a bit challenging for me, and just, you know, figuring out things on my own and trying to learn things on my own, it's been a bit tough. And for example, there's like another problem where the method I'm currently using, there's an issue with it computationally. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've had a lot of challenges, and I still have those challenges, and I'm finding a way to figure out how to navigate those challenges. But just seeing her, you know, saying that she thinks that I'm doing great, it's really rewarding, honestly. My battery died when I was talking. I need to make two PowerPoint presentations, one for my department and one for my lab. And the one for my department will be more about the interesting data, whereas the one for my lab meeting will be more about talking about the issues that I have with some of the methods that I mentioned to you earlier, and some of the challenges that we're currently facing with the analysis. So that would, because that's supposed to be like a presentation where people can contribute and help you to tackle some of the problems that you have. So inshallah, I plan to start writing next weekend, and then slowly I would be starting my lab work back, because I've got a few experiments to start off with, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time in the lab because I need some type of, you know, quietness and peace in order to write, whether it's that I'm writing a report just for my thesis or just writing like a paper. I just need like a peaceful, quiet place. So that's the plan for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to prepare my presentation this weekend for the two presentations, and then next week I'm going to start writing my secondary report. And another thing I forgot to mention to you guys is that I have a presentation scheduled for secondary school students on the 30th of June. I don't know how on earth I squeezed in to take that. Basically, it's supposed to be an inspirational talk to secondary school students about career choices and all of that, you know, all of the good stuff that I like to do in terms of public engagement. So what I'm going to do now is that I feel like I need to reward myself. So I'm just going to like lay down on my bed. Basically, I'm going to reply to some emails first, because I have a bunch of emails that I have a few emails that I was supposed to respond to like yesterday or the day before. So I'm going to respond to that now, and then just lay down on my bed doing absolutely nothing. So this second slide So this first slide, I'm going to have this one and then just an image that simplifies that OACC is more common than OAC. Then I'll move on to this.
And then here you can also say that you can kind of brush over parrots. Don't spend too much time talking about it. Maybe because this slide is also skewed towards prospective arm, but what you're actually talking about is retrospective arm.
Okay.
It's just from the design point of view. There is like 60% of it prospective. So just cutting the words or even because it's too small. Right now, people will not see what you're talking about. So when I put it on my 4K screen, I can kind of read what's on it. When I put it on my laptop screen, this is just a lot of blue wavy lines.
Oh, okay. So, okay. It's currently 5:46, and I just finished my meeting with my co-supervisor, and I just showed him all of the slides that I was making over the weekend, just to sort of review it with him and for him to just give me suggestions and feedbacks. So basically, he had a lot of things to comment on, and these things are actually very helpful. There were things that I really didn't think about a lot. So now what I want to do is that I'm going to work on all of those feedbacks that he mentioned to me. And also he just discussed with me some of the logistics behind what to have in mind when you're presenting to an audience, when you're presenting to a new audience that don't really know much about computational genomics. What are the kind of things that you should explain, and how you should be very basic and sort of go to explain the very simplest concept, because things that are obvious to you may not be obvious to them. So basically it was really great. I'm very thankful for the feedback. So now I just have a lot of things to do regarding, so every single time when I think that, okay, thankfully I am done with the data analysis, there's one more thing that I should have done, or one more mistake that I have, or one thing that I should have altered. So now I have to go back to figure out some things and make some adjustments with the figure. But yeah, I'll catch you guys. I don't know if I'm going to vlog. Maybe the next time I'll vlog is when I'm actually having the presentation. So for the most part of today, I was trying to start writing the report, but that's not even, there's no progress there. So I'm just going to move back to preparing for the presentation. I'm trying my best not to be nervous. Inshallah, everything will turn out well, I hope. So I'll catch you guys soon. Hi guys, so this is me. I'm sort of just waiting to start my presentation, my work in progress presentation to the department. And yeah, so I'm just trying my best not to be extremely nervous. So this is the dua that I mostly listen to. It just keeps me calm. Rabbish li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. This is the dua that I listen to a lot every time I have a presentation and I'm feeling a bit, anytime I have a presentation, whether I'm nervous or not nervous, so I listen to that dua. Anyway, I have 6 minutes left, so I have to tune into the Zoom meeting now, and I'll catch you guys when I'm done, inshallah. Hopefully everything goes well.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Aisha.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
I can, yeah.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi everyone, today I'll be presenting some part of my PhD project. It focuses on esophageal cancer, which is the 6th most common cause of cancer-related death globally. The main types of esophageal cancer are squamous cell carcinoma, which is acronym for OSCC, and adenocarcinoma, which is acronym for OAC. So although these two cancer types originate from the same organ, which is the esophagus, these two cancer subtypes are actually very different, with distinct clinical features, histopathological characteristics, as well as geographical distribution. So now that I've given you some of the few backgrounds that I think are important to understand some of the things that we've been doing, then I'll talk a bit about the retrospective arm of the study and just describe what we did. I just finished with my presentation and it went really well, alhamdulillah. I'm just so grateful that I think it went quite well. So my boss sent me an email after the presentation. She was like, well done, you did a great job in your big talk. I think I did quite a decent job, I guess. And tomorrow, basically, I have the second presentation with my lab group, and it's basically going to be just me repeating what I've just done, and I was just apologize in advance for anyone who was there for the whip talk, because it's more or less like me repeating stuff. But what can I do? It's not like I can present two different things because it's still the same project, right? I'm just going to add a few things about the challenges that I'm having and all of that kind of stuff, which I couldn't present for the departmental talk. So yeah, tomorrow I have the lab meeting. I actually have not prepared the presentation for the lab meeting, so I'll just do that once I'm done here. Just modify the slides a bit to fit with the lab meeting, and then I also need to start writing my second year report properly. So I'm going to start doing that today as well, inshallah, once I finish here. So I'm going to start writing the second year reports. And I don't know if you guys can remember, but remember that I told you that my fourth deadline, or I think my fourth or fifth deadline, aside from the second year report, is that I have a talk to secondary students to inspire them and all of that good stuff. So initially I had thought that it was not going to happen just because I didn't get an email about it. So today I got an email saying that I'm sending us the Zoom link for the webinar panelists and all of that. So I've got to prepare for that presentation as well. I don't know, man, like, how did I get myself into this? I don't know. I guess that would be fun because it's something that I really love to do. Not that I don't love to do all of these other things, but it won't require a lot of brain power like this one's, for example. So I guess I would prepare for that, I think, on Monday. Yeah, probably on Monday, because I have to prioritize my second year report and the presentation that I have tomorrow as well as during the weekend. So I'll start preparing for that on Monday. On Monday I plan to go to the lab briefly as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Catch you guys next time I pick the camera. Bye for now. Hi guys, so basically something happened. I'm outside. Something happened yesterday. Something weird happened. So when I was filming the part where I was giving my presentation to the department, I noticed that my camera was acting a bit weird. So like shortly after, when I was like, you know, going through my camera, I just noticed that I started to have problems with it. So for example, there were pink lines that were like showing up on the screen. And those pink lines, I really didn't have them before. It's not like the camera fell or anything recently, just randomly. Then maybe an hour afterward, the camera just started retracting, so it would go off on its own. I was just a bit sad yesterday because how can the camera just all of a sudden stop working without like anything happening to it? And it just doesn't make sense to me. So what I'm doing now is that I'm going to an insurance service that I use. So I just hope that I'm able to resolve the problem, because I started to think of what could happen if I don't have like a camera to vlog with. Because honestly, since I started this whole June series vlog, I started to think of like what will happen if I don't have a camera and all of that kind of stuff. At the moment, actually, I'm filming with my phone. So in case you notice that the quality is terrible, it's because I'm filming on my phone. What I plan to do is that even if my camera is not working, I plan to, you know, because I'm dedicated to you guys, right? So I plan to make the best out of the situation, even if my camera is not working. So I plan to vlog on my phone, which will be a lot less convenient, to be very honest. And also I have to figure out the memory issues with my phone if I want to have like videos on it and delete stuff. But anyways, I just thought to let you guys know in advance. Like, I apologize if my video quality isn't good anymore, and I just really hope that like I fix the issue, inshallah. So yeah, that's the update. I'm just waiting for my boss, and yeah, I have a presentation around 3 today, so it's currently around 1 past 12 to 12:30 p.m. So I've got a presentation in 2.5 hours, so I need to just get back in time for the presentation. Basically guys, they're going to replace my camera for me, alhamdulillah. Honestly, I feel like a huge burden has been lifted off my shoulders. So they mentioned that the reason why they're replacing the camera is because it's still classified under manufacturer warranty, because it's not up to a year since I got the camera. I got it around September last year and it's barely June. So this place that I came to is actually quite far away from the city centre, and it's like a different place entirely. It's still in Cambridge, but it doesn't feel like Cambridge. It's quite modern. It doesn't feel like, I think it's for people with families and stuff, because there are a lot of nursery schools here, a lot of primary schools as well, like daycares and stuff. Hi everyone. The PowerPoint presentation will be somewhat similar to the group talk yesterday, but I would add in some of the challenges that we've been having with the analysis. It's easy to sort of interchangeably use coverage for read count and read count for coverage, but coverage is a function of read count and read length. But what we are interested in this case is specifically read count. So that's why I think it's important for me to mention this early on, that what we are looking at are read counts and not necessarily coverage. Guys, so I've just finished with my talk, and basically it wasn't that bad, alhamdulillah. So now that I'm done, I'm just so glad. This is I think my third deadline out of the way, so I've got 2 deadlines left. One is a presentation next week Wednesday, and the other one is my secondary report. So now that I've gotten 3 deadlines out of the way, phew, it feels like a huge burden has been lifted off my shoulders, alhamdulillah. So now I've got the mentoring thing that I signed up for with the African Student Society in Cambridge. So it's supposed to help people like mentor future prospective applicants to Cambridge to help them with the application, advice and personal statements and whatnot. So I signed up to be a mentor for that, and they were supposed to have this info session meeting today. It was supposed to start around 4 p.m, but it's currently 4:31 because of the lab meeting ran for a while. I think it's a nice initiative, and I wish they had something like that when I was applying to Cambridge, because there's so many nuances about applying to Cambridge that not many people would know about until when they are in the system. So I think it would have been nice for me if I had someone to sort of hold my hands and show me the way. So that's why I signed up for it, because even though I didn't have anyone to help me, I would like to, be that person for someone at least. So yeah, I signed up to have just one mentee because I can't handle so many people at once. So just one mentee, and that's it. So I'll tune into that meeting now.
The personal statements, I think it's split up into 2. So you've got their research kind of proposal or their research experience that they've had, and then they've got an additional kind of area where they can talk about their personal experience, for example. And we also encourage them to talk a bit about some of the extracurricular activities that they've been involved with, or if they've got any kind of financial issues that they come from a low socioeconomic background. We encourage people to disclose this information because in the scoring matrix there are...
The journey to success most times is not linear, or it's not straightforward for most people. There's a lot of things that go in the background that you don't see, and sometimes when you're going through rough patches as well, when you have this big goal in your head, don't let those rough patches affect you, because it's all part of the journey. Don't let it be something that would put you off from going to that dream school that you've always thought of, or taking that course that you've always dreamt of.